It's your boy T. Allen. I'm here today to talk to you guys about my life. So, we're just gonna dive right in. This is going to be a part of my rollout for my upcoming EP called Butterfly. Make sure that you guys go out and stream Butterfly on July 18th. It'll be on all streaming platforms. So you guys, I am going through it. And that's really the gist of what I can give for that, is that life is kind of beating me up. But it's really funny because I am probably the happiest that I've been in the past 3 or 4 years. Almost 4 years ago, I moved to Atlanta, and it has been a journey ever since. Truthfully, I think moving to Atlanta forced me to step out on being an adult. And I mean, granted, you just think, I'm 26. I moved here when I was 22, about to turn 23. And I was a kid, I was just getting out of college. I didn't really have a full idea of what adulthood was, what that was going to be like. I was coddled. My grandma and my mama coddled me. They kept me financially secure. They made sure my car was running, made sure it got repairs. They really looked out for me in major ways. Now, what I do believe is that growing up, I was a lot more independent than some of the people that I grew up around. I do believe that I like to do things for myself. I was washing clothes at the age of 8 and, doing stuff like that. I knew how to cook since I was 4. I took care of my little sister. There were a lot of things that I did that were mature, but I think being an adult is different than having, certain maturities. So jumping here and having to pay bills and having to make sure the bills get paid and having to make sure the lights stay on and it just kind of kept going and going and going. And I moved here with my best friend. We had 3 apartments together in the past 4 years. And then we both decided to kind of, live on our own. And that was a transition. I have been going through a lot. A lot was happening in that time, in which I kind of described during the Wish You Well rollout. After Wish You Well, which is my last EP, I started to do some other things. So I got a new group of friends. I'm still friends with my bestie. Let's clarify that. If you follow me on social media, you see that. But yes, we are still thick as thieves. But I did get a new group of friends. I started hanging out with some different people. I came out a little bit before Wish You Well. So I was out during Wish You Well, but I really came into kind of my identity and who I was. So I had to become and learn a whole different version of myself, which has been very, very difficult. I never thought that I was fake or that I was faking anything, but I wasn't living to my fullest extent. I'll say that. So kind of figuring out who I was and who I was supposed to become and how I was supposed to navigate, being gay and making new friends and living in a new city and trying to chase dreams and still managing my past life with my past friendships, the relationship I had with my family, just different things of that nature, and kind of reintroducing myself to everybody. That has been really, really hard. And because I was still reintroducing myself to myself, if that makes sense. So I believe right after Wish You Well, I kind of I remember the day after my release party for Wish You Well, I felt uneasy. And I just kind of made it like, I just really felt like it was because I was tired, right? So I'm like, I've just been working all week doing stuff for this party, for this project, while still doing my 9 to 5. And I was doing DoorDash at the time. And like, so I was just like, I'm tired. And while I was very excited that the EP had came out, it felt like, dang, now that chapter is closed. What's next? Like, what do I do? Because I processed so many emotions and so many things during that, situation that I'm like, what do I do now? And that was the start of where like this whole butterfly thing came from. I started writing Butterfly a few months after, so probably beginning of 2024, I started writing Butterfly. But it was so many things. I originally was calling it Garden. And then I changed it again. I changed the name again because I was just, experiencing different things at the time. I had started dating and like, not like dating because I think before that I dated, but I really just got into one relationship and was in that relationship 4 months and kind of just went through that process and never really had anything else to go off of. So 2024, I started dating, like for real. Like I was going on multiple dates with multiple different people, getting to know different people. I had a very little hoe phase, nothing too crazy. Was not out here doing nothing too crazy, but I was definitely having fun. Like spring and the summer of last year, like I was having a ball. But in the process of all of that, in the dating realm, I really got my feelings hurt multiple times, which I don't feel is uncommon or like shouldn't have happened, because I feel like if you're dating and you're intentional and you're vulnerable and you put yourself out there and you put your heart out there, it's bound to happen. Like you're bound to get your feelings hurt, and it's really just about how you bounce back from it. The problem was I still hadn't learned how to bounce back from it. So the same cycles that I was going through with Wish You Well, of like crashing out, having a lot of anxiety, feeling a lot of ways about the way that people were treating me, kind of overstepping my boundaries in the way that people felt about me. I was doing all of it again. I was just doing it on a smaller scale. So like I would do my whole crash out, and then I would just like block them, and that was it. And I was done until I seen them again. And then the cycle restarted. For multiple different people, mind you. So that was like weird for me. It was really, really weird for me. And as I started to come to the realization that I wanted to name this project Butterfly, I really had to understand the process of a butterfly. And what we learn as kids is, like butterflies, they start off as a caterpillar. And then they go into their cocoon, and they come out and they spread their wings and they fly away. And this whole beautiful creature comes out of what was just a little caterpillar. And I started to like kind of evaluate how that happened in my life. And I was like, dang, because the process of becoming a butterfly happened to me in more ways than one.